The Fan.
Charch in for PA today. Is PA back Monday? No, he's probably out Monday. He's probably out Tuesday as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he'll be back Wednesday.
He's off until July 10th, actually.
What?
So
Jeez, man.
Well,
wow. And to think Rosie gets all the grief he gets for his vacation schedule.
Yeah, he's vocal maintenance.
Wow.
You know how it works.
Good for him. I'm jealous. Well, I mean, that's a hell of a run.
In fairness, because I get asked about it regularly, he does not take a day off during the football season.
I know.
And he'll catch a day during whether it's the bye week.
He'll get a bye week.
Sure, yeah. And then maybe near Christmas or New Year's or something. He does not take a day off. So when you have been at a place for a very long time and you've accrued a fair amount of vacation days, and you just take 6 months out of the mix, that leaves you, maybe you could say, limited time to take said vacation. So God
bless him. He's earned it.
They're giving him
been here 20 plus years.
They're giving him the days.
6 weeks of vacation built up.
Now Abbott, the great boss that Abbott is, he guilt trips him. He guilt trips us into taking. You gave us the vacation days. And I'm not leaving my vacation days on the table.
Right.
No, that's not how the contract works. You gave me the vacation days. I'm going to take them. So he's taken the days that he has earned, and he'll be back Monday the 10th.
That means next Friday it'll be you and me again.
It will be. I heard you're hosting the Initials game.
I am hosting Initials. I'm going to try to not have a tie. I'm like, how did this even happen?
So did they ever settle the tie?
No, I don't think they did. I think that we've got the first tie in history. I even made up an extra tiebreaker at the end on the fly to give a third tie-breaking option.
The DeForest Kelly bit's ridiculous. As a tiebreaker, you know this. We went through this when you did it.
I know.
You're frustrated.
Look,
You effectively spelled out DraftKings.
I did.
And the dead air that ensued following the clear, obvious answer is...
And I've thought about it many times. What I should have done after I spelled out DraftKings and still nobody got it, I should have just tacked on more clues to DraftKings until, if I'd have said this is a daily fantasy competitor to FanDuel, bang.
Now my question
I'd like to think somebody would have gotten it.
My question is, 64686 text line. Is DraftKings kind of one word?
Well, they use it
in terms from a branding standpoint.
But in fairness, the first clue I gave was stylistically, this appears as one word.
Stylistically. So but you think like from a tax filing standpoint that it would be draft space kings?
Oh no. Yeah. But the point is everywhere you see it, it's one word.
But you did
But
again,
it's capital K.
Basically spell out the word.
It is capital D, capital K in DraftKings. And their ticker symbol is DKNG.
I mean, come on. It was right there. I'm saying it's not your fault.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
But I'm in the vast minority on that.
I'm sure.
Really think you messed up the entire thing.
I'm sure. Well, I'll have a chance to redeem myself next Friday when I host Initials again. I haven't started working.
Hey, are you still in the program password tournament too?
I am. I think that's the 13th.
Jeez.
I believe.
It's a busy month for you.
Myself and Corey will be taking on Lil B and Marnie Gellner.
Oh, and Marnie.
Those two are dangerous. They are so mentally in lockstep with each other. I'm pretty sure they're on the same cycle.
This is a battle of godlike titans taking place here in program password.
I'm very nervous.
I think
they are those two that I hear them play, and they get stuff that I would never get. Clues back and forth because they just, and this is how we lost in the finals last time. The Todds mentally worked very much alike.
Yeah.
And they would get stuff back and forth, and I don't even know what they're talking about.
Well, that's the key, too. I think you and Corey have similar planes in terms of how you approach or think things. You mentioned it, Lil B and Marnie do as well. Me and Fallness, different planets.
Yeah.
It was not a partnership.
Not meant to be.
Not a partnership that was meant to last.
I felt bad about knocking you out. Let's go back to Pauper's Palace. Give me another one.
How about this?
Let's go make some money.
Well, exactly. Now, this one, I find this to be, it's tricky. Comeback Player of the Year, Charch, at Pauper's Palace.
Yeah.
Who do you think the massive favorite is? Comeback Player of the Year.
I'll admit I already know because I look at these things.
Yeah, but DeMar
Hamlin is the
negative money.
How do you not? It's literally negative money on DeMar Hamlin.
Minus 300.
So I have to bet 300 to win $100.
A guy that effectively died on the field.
Yeah, you top that.
If he plays in 2023, who cares what Lamar Jackson does at 20-1? Who cares what Tua does? Even Cooper Kupp. Everybody loves Cooper Kupp, 25-1. How about Russell Wilson showing a freaking pulse? Comeback Player of the Year, 25-1. DeMar Hamlin died. He died on the field and had to be brought back to life. I think if I'm sitting at the Pauper's Palace desk and you come up and you say, I want to put $1,000 in DeMar Hamlin, I'm just like, keep the money. It's fine. It's perfect. You're giving me $1,000 to win basically, what is that, 300 effectively, or 3 and change, 333?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a reasonable bet to make. But if you want to do it, you can do it. Now let's move on to this.
Well, and for the record, that minus 300 is a non-starter for me. I couldn't place that wager. Obviously, I hope DeMar Hamlin plays and wins that award. But if I just can't place a bet like that at minus 300, I would try for Tua or Cooper Kupp, and I would not root against DeMar Hamlin, but I would, if it's something that happens and DeMar Hamlin doesn't win for whatever reason, I've got a plus 2,500 ticket in my hands.
I just got a text that asked if you said Marnie and Lil B are on the same cycle.
I did.
Okay. AP Offensive Player of the Year, Pauper's Palace. Jamar Chase, the forward at 12, the favorite at 12-1. Then our guy, JJ, Offensive Player of the Year, 14-1. I'm looking at this guy though.
You got to clarify Offensive Player of the Year versus MVP. Well, MVP is a quarterback's award.
And that's actually something we're going to talk about.
The Offensive Player of the Year can go quarterback, wide receiver, running back. That's way, way more open. Justin Jefferson won it last year.
JJ won this last year, defending champ of this award, 14-1. Wow. Christian McCaffrey, 16-1. Cooper Kupp and Tyreek, 20-1. And then you get to Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields at 22-1, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, 25-1. So
quarterbacks win this all the time. Yeah. Quarterbacks win Offensive Player of the Year a lot. They also win MVP all the time. Why not Jalen Hurts at 25-1? Patrick Mahomes at 25-1?
Correct.
Why not?
Elite value on that.
Awesome value.
Yeah.
The Eagles. All right. To be very clear, I'm not trying to put myself in the preposterous statement tournament here. If I had to pick a team over the last several years to go undefeated, it might be the Eagles of this year. Their schedule is absurd. They're obviously a great team. Now, teams coming off Super Bowl losses generally flop the next year. But this roster, the Eagles roster, is just freaking stacked. And if Jalen Hurts stays healthy all year, the Eagles are going to be favored in every single game they play this season.
So they start out at New England, win. They host us, painfully. That feels like a victory.
Yep.
They're at Tampa and Baker Mayfield's,
win.
Hosting Washington,
win.
Samuel Howe. At L.A.
Which L.A.?
The Rams.
Well, it doesn't matter, but yes, that's a win.
At Jets and Rodgers.
That could be a little bit trickier than Jets' defense is very good.
Hosting the Dolphins.
Probably a win. Tua might not even be their quarterback by week 6.
They are sweeping Washington then week 8.
Yep.
Then they host Dallas. Micah Parsons he balls out against the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is good against the Eagles, but I still think, the far better team is the Eagles.
Well, how about this? Super Bowl rematch, Monday Night Football out of the bye, Week 11, November 20th at Kansas City.
Yeah, that's the sticker. That's the sticking point on my run the table undefeated season.
So their schedule as it lays out is super easy. I don't want to say it's super easy, but it's in their favor.
No, it's very easy. Yeah.
This 3-game gauntlet, though, at KC out of the bye, they host Buffalo and San Francisco the next 2 weeks.
That is a
pain in the balls type of 3-game stretch.
Yeah, that's tough.
Then they're at Dallas, beat on Dak. I think they're taking a risk, by the way, by making Tony Pollard the guy. Now, he's going to be coming back from injury and such, but they got to figure out that running back situation. Maybe it's Dalvin. Who knows? At Seattle versus New York. Yeah, man. I mean, it's amazing, too, given their record. And that's the thing. Your Super Bowl prop bets are usually just terrible, Charch. I must be honest with you. I'm still reeling from your Sony Michel prop bet take in the Rams Super Bowl. But your vibe on the Eagles is so strong. You hit it last year.
I'm hitting it again this year.
And you're hitting it again. I'm with you. They're another 1-seed situation in the NFC, to be sure. But yeah, value on the quarterbacks in the offensive player of the year.
That'd be my angle. Is Hurts and Mahomes plus 2,500, 25-1. The elite quarterbacks.
And later on, because we're going to move into a Vikings topic that I love, but about the MVP award itself, it is absolutely it's a QB award. That's really what it boils down to. So when we're talking about JJ, when we're talking about some of those things later, no shot.
It's very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult. I pulled up a timeline of all of the peculiar things Antonio Brown has done since he got into the league with the Steelers.
Well, we're only on until noon, Charch.
We might need most of the rest of the remaining hour and 40 minutes. Let me hit you with it's in the totality. You forget how much stuff there was. So much stuff, and it goes back so far. So this is chronological order, and thank you to whoever posted this on the internet. Appreciate it. I don't know who it was. Antonio Brown drove 100 miles per hour down McKnight Road in Pittsburgh, which has a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Okay, so that might have been warning sign number 1. Trashed a condo and threw furniture out of a window 14 floors up, almost hit some people, including a child, on the ground below.
Do we have dates to this?
14 floors. It's all I know is it's in chronological order.
It's just
undated.
Okay.
Undated. Killed a home aquarium full of piranhas and refused to pay the man who owned the tank. He refused to play a Week 17 game for the Steelers. Antonio Brown dyed his mustache blonde, which we're calling a peculiar event, but
I remember that.
Probably just that.
It looked preposterous.
Refused to pay a chef because he thought he threatened him by placing a fish head in his freezer, but the fish head had been saved just to make soup. Antonio Brown farted on a team doctor.
Intentionally.
He demanded a trade from the Steelers. Decided he wanted to be called Mr. Big Chest at one point.
Oh, the Mr. Big Chest.
Remember that? I would like to be referred to, before everybody had their own personal pronouns and everything, wanted to be referred to as Mr. Big Chest.
Well, and in some ways, I'm kind of hurt by that because Meat Sauce and I have been calling each other Mr. Big Chest. We did that years before.
Yeah.
Years before Antonio Brown wanted to be called such things. Meat Sauce and I actually called each other Mr. Big Chest.
I like that.
So he kind of took our bit.
For moob reasons, but yes.
Absolutely.
Antonio Brown threw a fit over Juju Smith-Schuster winning the team MVP award and then trashed his teammate on social media.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown nixed a trade that would have sent him to the Bills. Showed up at Raiders training camp in a hot air balloon. Totally normal. Totally normal. Now, we're used to Vikings getting dinged for the speeding ticket in St. Peter. This is how you don't get the speeding ticket going to training camp. You arrive in a hot air balloon.
So what's more obscure?
Corin Robinson.
What's more weird? Yes, Corin Robinson. Oh, my goodness. Just taken down Highway 169.
Yeah.
You have the hot air balloon to training camp for Antonio Brown or the Adrian Peterson camel with the cap and the outfit at his birthday party. Which one is more weird and ultimately just a stupid waste of money?
So Adrian Peterson is reportedly either filing bankruptcy or near bankrupt.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd like to have his birthday party with the Arabian-themed birthday party in which he imported camels from Saudi Arabia? Would you like to have that money back?
I don't know how forward-thinking or if he's a person that dwells on regret. Because I think that can be a bad deal, personally, to dwell on regret. But I saw on Twitter the other day, I think he's the only running back in NFL history that made at least $100 million over the course of his career.
Oh, no kidding.
I mean, even like Zeke, he signed like a $90 million deal. I think he's been paid, let's say, 50 or 60 of that. That's how it's working for running backs. Yeah. Same with Dalvin right now. He made over $100 million.
Gone.
And it's all gone.
And we're what, 1 year out of, he's been removed from the league for 1 year.
And it's all gone.
100 million gone.
I mean, he didn't even have couldn't you found just a high interest savings account?
Yeah, right.
I mean, even at 1%, it's not going to do. It's not necessarily going to work for you.
Your high interest savings account is not going to pay the money you need to import camels from Saudi Arabia for your birthday party. Sorry,
that is the problem. Yes, I think he would put that on a list of maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Antonio Brown held out and refused to show up to Raiders training camp because the NFL would not allow him to wear his old helmet, which had been decommissioned for safety concerns.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, too.
Then, same training camp, remember this? He froze his feet.
He did. Couldn't play. He came in with the sores. He had frostbite on the bottom of his feet.
Yep. Then, if you remember...
Was that a cryo chamber accident
training camp thing is so good. Then, he tried to paint over that old helmet, hoping nobody would notice and he could keep wearing the old helmet. But of course people noticed because he didn't doctor it well enough. Then
I don't think he ever even played a game for the Raiders. All of these things happened.
No, he didn't.
And I don't think he played a game.
Then he acquired a new version of the same old model of helmet and tried to get that on, and they wouldn't let him play with that.
Ugh.
So then he finally picked out a new helmet and showed up to a Raiders training camp, but then got fined by the Raiders for not attending training camp. Then Antonio Brown tweeted the fines. Then Antonio Brown tried to have a fist fight with general manager Mike Mayock, calling him a C word, which we won't use on the air, and held to be held back by Vontaze Burfict. Now, when Vontaze Burfict is like is the calm guy.
He's the mediator.
Right? He's the mediator. Things are going totally wrong. He then punted a football down the practice field and said, "Fine me for that." Then he got fined for that. Then he released a video where he used audio of John Gruden, who didn't know he was being taped, which is illegal in California, by the way. Then he demanded his release from the Raiders and was ultimately released from the Raiders. Then Antonio Brown made a bunch of crazy tweets saying stuff like, "The devil is a lie." And he made a bunch of crazy tweets. He liked a tweet about Mike Mayock getting raped. Jeez. Then he signed with the Patriots. Then he moved in with Tom Brady. Then sexual assault allegations came out. Then sexual harassment allegations came out. And then he threatened the woman that was suing him in a group text.
Yeah.
And then he got released by the Patriots. Then Antonio Brown went on a tweet storm and said a lot of crazy stuff about a lot of people, supported a lot of people who were sending threats to people that supported him. Then he said he was done with the NFL. Then he went back to college via online classes. Then Antonio Brown tried to outsource his homework to Twitter for his online class. Then he says he wants to come back to the NFL. He filed several grievances to try to get more than $40 million from the Raiders and the Patriots, despite the fact he never played a game with either one. He was ordered to show up for a deposition regarding the trashing of a condo, you may recall.
Yeah, that was earlier in the list.
Was accused of reprehensible behavior during the deposition that happened. He arrived 30 minutes late to the deposition, and during the deposition, he chanted over and over again as if in a mantra. Said that the Patriots will have to pay him, so he may as well play anyway. So he decided to go back to the NFL. Then he tweeted a couple of bizarre tweets about the Raiders using him for HBO ratings. Then he tried out for the Saints and brought an entourage and film crew to shoot a music video with him during his tryout with the Saints. Then he called out Robert Kraft for his massage session in Florida publicly. Then he started training for a boxing match with Logan Paul, even though there was no match set. Then Antonio Brown tweeted, quote, "No more white women 2020. Then the attorney representing him in the suit involving the condo quit.
Yeah.
Did not want to use him anymore. Then he used a bunch of slurs and profane language towards cops in an Instagram video. Then the police youth football league cut ties with him and returned a donation saying there's been irreparable damage done between the police department and him. Then Antonio Brown threw a bag of gummy candy in the shape of male anatomy at the cops in a video that he posted. Then his agent fired him. Then he was involved in a dispute with movers at his home in which he allegedly threw rocks at the movers and their moving vans. He is still being investigated for battery for that. His trainer got arrested and is still a suspect in a battery case. A warrant was issued for Antonio Brown. He eventually turned himself into Broward County Jail wearing a outlandish suit. Rumors spread about AB signing with Tampa or Seattle, and later ended up joining Tampa Bay, of course, and then ended up walking off the field, being thrown off the field, basically, and released mid-game, which we've never seen it before.
And then, most recently, he was the owner, I think, Arena League or some obscure...
Yes, and that brings us to now.
Yeah.
He was the investor in an Arena League team.
Wasn't paying the players.
Wasn't paying the players.
I think his team was kicked out of the league.
And that's right.
He was a player catch.
Yes.
Mr. Big Chest.
Antonio Brown. Unbelievable.
It to be honest with you,
you forget the totality of all that.
It started out super funny. I'm kind of sad now.
I know.
I'm kind of sad the way everything has played out.
He's not well.
For an eternally gifted athlete.
There was a period of time where he was unquestionably the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
And then this.
And then there's that.
Unbelievable. It's amazing. We've got, what's the one thing that has to happen for the Minnesota Vikings to accomplish various goals? We'll tell you about that when we come back. It is the Friday.
Reach us here at the Fan.
Welcome back to the show. Paul Charching with you. Nordo as well. Eric.
Hi.
I'm going to give you a series of things that we would like to see happen to the Vikings. Some of them are reasonable, some are not reasonable, but what is the one thing that would have to happen for each of these events to transpire?
Okay.
What is the one thing that has to happen for the Vikings to win the NFC North? That seems pretty reasonable. They are the champions, the reigning champions of the NFC North. Tell me the one thing that needs to happen.
Our defense needs to improve more greatly than theirs does. Their defense was...
Who's the they in this?
The Lions. In particular, excuse me. Their defense was just about as hideous as ours last year, 28th in points, last in yards. And not predicting any sort of injury, or it's not predicated on injuries last year. Their defense has a massive lack of talent. I know they drafted Jack Campbell, but other than that, you're expecting a significant jump off of a fairly impressive rookie season by Aiden Hutchinson. Other than that, Alex Anzalone is just okay. Emmanuel Mosley, their outside corner, now no longer Jeff Okudah. They moved on from him. But Emmanuel Mosley, people act like he was a stud coming from the Niners. Mosley is as average and mediocre as you can get, save for the defensive front that the Niners have. I think they have a terrible secondary. They didn't move on from Aaron Glenn, the DC, a year ago. And so he's back in the mix.
What is the one thing that has to happen for the Vikings to win the NFC North?
Their defense has to improve more greatly than ours. I believe overall we are as talented a team as they are, but it's an arms race defensively that is where I think the division is won. It's us and the Lions. That's why I focus on the Lions. The Packers, I think, are going to be more competitive than people think. I think the Bears are going to have another tough season. So I'm looking specifically at the Lions, and I'm saying it's on the defensive side of the ball. Whose defense gets better, and that decides the North.
I think the one thing that has to happen for the Vikings to win the NFC North is Jared Goff's got to go down with injury, and for a long time. Because at that point, it's Nate Sudfeld or rookie Hendon Hooker, who is probably not even going to be ready to play until Thanksgiving. So that if Jared Goff goes down with a major injury,
okay,
and I'm not wishing injury on anybody, just to be clear, that paves the way.
What a very morbid approach.
But that's a fact. But, I mean, the Lions right now, the Lions beat the Vikings, hammered the Vikings in that second game in late December. The Vikings barely squeaked out the victory in the first game. The Lions are the better team at the end of the season. They get the benefit of the doubt here, and I need to take the quarterback off their roster.
Okay.
Nordo.
I guess I wasn't as succinct as you were in this regard. So I get it. Okay.
What is the one thing that has to happen for Justin Jefferson to win the MVP award?
He has to set, just unbelievable records. And that's, again, I know it's one thing, but I'm talking about the greatest season, the most unbelievable season we have ever seen statistically from an NFL wide receiver. And that means, Randy Moss and those 23 TDs he had in 2007.
Yeah.
You got to be in that range. Calvin Johnson and the nearly 2,000 receiving yards he had, you have to beat that. That's the type of season, 190 to 200 targets type of thing. It has to be the most unbelievable season we have ever seen from a wide receiver for him to win MVP. Otherwise, it could be the guy throwing him the ball if he gets close, or another quarterback.
I have he's got to get to 2,000 receiving yards.
There you go.
2,000. Yeah. We're a base 10 society. We like our round numbers. You got to get to 2,000 yards. Kevin O'Connell put Cooper Kupp on just under 2,000 yards a couple of seasons ago. Cooper Kupp did not win MVP. And also, the Vikings have to be playoff viable for the whole season. MVPs do not come from losing teams.
No, they do not.
You have to be, you've got to be a good team as well. You got to, effective first place your division. You got to, that's got to be in there as well.
And that's the toughest thing about this. He could have 2,000 yards this year. It's certainly possible. And we could still be an 8-win team.
Yeah, and then you can't win.
Right.
So for me, it starts with 2,000 yards for Justin Jefferson. What is the one thing that has to happen for Alexander Mattison to run for 1,000 yards?
One thing?
One thing.
He has to get the same dominant workload that Dalvin did a year ago. And that is, he's got to get, I think it was 260 some carries that Dalvin had a year ago. Mm-hmm. And Mattison he had fewer than 75 on the ground. So for him to get to 1,000 yards, we're banking on them trying to be more aggressive, or at least certainly more efficient in the run game. He has to get the same percentage-wise dominant workload that Dalvin did a year ago, and then be productive with it, by the way. I think Dalvin was at about 4.5 a carry, maybe a tick under. So Mattison has to match that, and that's the only way he can get to 1,000 yards in this offense. I honestly, I don't think he will, but we'll see.
16 players hit 1,000 yards last year.
Yep.
So half of the teams had a 1,000-yard rusher last year. You know what they had in common? All 16 of them played at least 15 games last year. You got to stay healthy. And You got to be the obvious lead back.
I've never looked at Mattison as being an injury concern, although
because he hasn't really been.
But in fairness, from a rep standpoint, he also hasn't been the 3-down guy.
That's right.
So we'll see. Yep. But he has to get the dominant workload that Dalvin got.
Yep. And I guess that ties into staying healthy.
Yeah.
Let me give you one more. What is the one thing that has to happen for Kirk Cousins to be re-signed to a new deal before the end of the season?
It will. It can't be just one thing, but it's kind of already happened.
I'm asking for one thing.
Come on.
That's the whole point of this bet. One thing.
The team can't be awful. I think just full disclosure, I think Kirk's going to be re-signed. because of decisions that have already been made. It's the it's $28 million that's on the dead cap for 2024, whether we have them or not. I think it's the fact that given this offense the way that it is, if we are not awful, 8 or 9 wins is going to put us picking in the draft at 19 or 20. And so if we think that we can jump the Raiders and the Bucks and the Arizona Cardinals are expected to be bad, would they be in that mix for the first overall pick and try to move on from Kyler? Probably. I think if we are not terrible, we will not be in a position to make that move up and draft a quarterback of the future. I think as soon as March hits, we're going to hear about a re-signing of Kirk Cousins.
You and I couldn't see this more differently. I believe the Vikings are fully intending to move on to a younger quarterback unless one thing happens with Kirk Cousins, and it is an MVP caliber season.
So if he's MVP,
he has to for this team to re-sign him in season. He has to be having an MVP caliber season, the best season of his career. Far outpacing anything he's done to this point,
sure,
where it becomes so patently obvious you cannot go away from him, then they will re-sign him. And otherwise, this team reloads at a younger quarterback next year.
I think there's almost 0% chance they'd ever re-sign him in season if that takes place, only because Kirk won't let it happen. Because Kirk's going to sit there and go, okay, you see what's happening? Yeah, let's talk in March. Let's let the sand roll out of this hourglass and let you guys feel the heat. And that below market deal that I was interested in a year ago that I was open to because I want to finish my career here because I love it here and love everything about Minnesota.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on the MVP. For me, it's almost signed, sealed, delivered that he's back.
When we come back, this is an audience participation segment.
Ooh.
What is the collectible that you wish you still had? Something you had as a kid that's gone. Your mom threw it out. Babies. You threw it out. You're right. Whatever it is.
Gigapets.
Yeah, whatever that is. Your Pog collection, your whatever it is.
I had some slammers.
There we go. What is the collectible you wish you had back that you had as a kid and is now gone? You can text in the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, 64686. We'll even take calls. We never take calls. Let's take calls. 1-800-320-5326. What is the one collectible from your childhood?
KFAN, The Fan.
Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body line.
Welcome back to
Shake, 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 Sinora.
Paul Charch with you, Nordo, as well. We got great response to this topic, which I love. What is the collectible that you wish you had back from your childhood that is now gone? For whatever reason. Many times it's mom threw it away. Mom's killing us in this segment. I've got a bunch of people that have texted into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, 64686. I'll read several of those, but we also have many callers on hold, and I do want to talk to several of you as well. Let's see here. I want to begin with Nick. How do I still... Nordo, what am I doing wrong to bring Nick up? It's always just been click the little bubble right next to the flashing guy. That's always been it.
Yeah. And he's with us now.
He is now. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
We'll figure it out in the break.
Hi, Nick.
It's all good.
Nick, are you with us? No, we thought we had it figured out, but apparently we don't. No, let's...
If Nick's there, Nick, feel free to talk. But
I'm not going to wait forever on Nick.
How about this? Dave in Arizona. What's up, man?
Hi, Dave. Dave, what is the collectible you wish you had back?
1952 Topps Mickey Mantle rookie card.
No, come on. Dave, I don't believe you.
I'm serious.
Oh, come on.
I got it when I was about 4 years old from my older brother that collected sports cards.
All right, so you're older.
And,
all right.
Back when you were a kid, you had to put the sports cards on the bicycle to make a cool sound.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Mickey Mantle went around so many times. He got dizzy and fell off. But I vividly remember having that card in my hand.
All right, Dave, I'm willing to believe that your older brother bequeathed you a Mickey Mantle rookie card and you put it in the spokes of your bike. And I guess that's relatively plausible, but I've gotten 3 people that have said in text that have said they've got
Correct.
Mickey Mantle rookie cards.
So somebody's line here. Let's check in with Doug from Mankato. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you, Doug. What's the collectible you had as a kid you wish you still had?
Well, it's the collectible. I don't know if it's a collectible now, but I remember when I was 5 or 6 having the Evel Knievel wind-up motorcycle that jumped the van or the transport van.
Yeah, I had that thing.
And,
you winded it up, and you got a bunch of torque in him, and then you hit a button, and he go down the ramp, and he go flying down your driveway.
Yep, and he could do flips and go downstairs, and I remember I thought I'd have Evel Knievel slide down a string, like G.I. Joe. And I tied the one end to the bedpost, and I thought I'd use a bobby pin and tie the other end and use that outlet in the wall as the base point. And the babysitter had to call the parents to get them home for that one. But
I bet.
But that was infused by the Evel Knievel motorcycle stunt van. So I was just talking about it the other day with some people about how cool that was and how advanced the technology was on a motorcycle that really could drive itself after being wound up. So
yeah, now,
cool
Doug, let me tell you how I lost my Evel Knievel. You electrocuted Evel Knievel. We would play in the driveway, and I thought, because Evel did this a lot, we'd wind him up, but then I put down the lighter fluid and I lit that on fire so Evel could go through the fire. Did that enough times, and eventually Evel melted. And that was the end of Evel Knievel for me. So I had the same guy, and he came to a similar grisly fate. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you calling in.
Should we try Nick one more time?
Sure. We got some other people, and I've got a bunch. I got a bunch of these to talk through as well.
Nick in Minneapolis, welcome to 9 to Noon. That's not in the cards today. Why don't you jump on the text message?
All right, I'll do that. I'll let you catch up on calls. Number of things through the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line of things that you had as a kid and wish you had back. Stretch Armstrong. Little brother put it in the freezer and broke his arms off. We still aren't speaking, and it's been 30 years. I like that. That is very appropriate. Next. I wish I had my dad's original blueprints to Paisley Park. He let the kids draw on them. Man, what a collector's item that would be. The blueprints to Paisley Park. Oh, that would have been amazing. A lot of people with baseball cards that are similar to this one. I wish I had the 20 Velveeta boxes full of baseball cards from the mid-'70s and late 80s. I think that's all of us. I had so many football cards from the 70s. Still stings knowing how much money is rotting in a landfill somewhere. Same. I wish I would have had those. Somewhere around the 80s, people figured out these cards are going to be worth something someday, and they started taking care of them. And then, but prior to that, they weren't even taking care of these things. And so nobody was taking care of them if you still had them. And I played with them.
Correct.
I set them all out into formations and everything.
I don't know at what point in time did it truly start becoming a thing? Whether it's the 6 people on the text line that all apparently had Mickey. I mean, how many people in Minnesota had Mickey Mantle rookie cards?
Apparently, many of us did. Yes.
But at what point in time was somebody did it truly start to become a thing where we better hold on to this and actually take care of it?
Yeah, I think it was the 80s, and I think that's why the cards pre-80s, regardless of sport, are worth so much more money. I'll give you one more before we go to break. The collectible I miss most from my childhood is my dad's Playboy collection.
Oh, hell yeah. Everyone knew in the neighborhood it was the Playboy dad and the Hustler dad.
Back with more of the collectibles that you wish you still had when we come back.